Hello and welcome to Philosophical Shorts. I am Dr. Alexander Moseley, and in this video I will be following up on the first talk on the philosophy of love, in which I presented a brief overview of different meanings of the word love and the classical analysis of love as involving three different levels. In this second video we go deeper to gain a sense of a greater understanding of the difference between the first two levels of love as being rather self-centered, and the third level that reaches into something more unconditional and spiritual even. The three classical levels of love outlined in the previous video: eros, or sexual attraction or temporary love of a friend; philia, a more committed level of love to a partner or a great friendship; and agape, that invokes a broader and perhaps even more spiritual love, leaning into unconditionality. Well, these levels suggest a sense of deepening connectedness that is useful for examining love in different cultures, as well as in their own understanding of love's boundaries or the extent and limits we place on it, as well as considerations regarding the role of the lover and the beloved, the agent and the other in modern philosophical dreariness, and the role of intention or purposes and outcomes, concepts that lead us into other philosophical disciplines such as aesthetics. Do we naturally love that which is beautiful? And what does that mean? Or how should we express our love? Or whether that just generates a host of other human contrivances and fancies from anthropology, differing across cultures, which would avoid dealing with love per se. But there's also the various political and social issues that arise in love, the Romeo and Juliet story, for example, such as, is loving another necessarily a political action? Nonetheless, thinking a bit about the concept of love is a rather useful thing in our social circles, as when we are young, and we wish to express attraction or friendship, we may explain hesitatingly a personal understanding of what we mean by loving someone. Oh, I don't mean love, I mean like. Look, she's a great friend, I like her, there's nothing in it, honestly. And of course, I love my brother. No, not like that, ugh. But each level may invoke a sexual attraction, not just the level of eros, and hopefully the higher levels of romantically connected love between two people may enjoy sexual desire. But we can also admit in this framework that sexual attraction is not necessary. We can love a friend, love a family member, love humanity in the sense of appreciation, affection, love a physical object or an animal. We've even borrowed an idea from Plato, which we call platonic love, in which a relationship is non-sexual. Originally it was bandied about as a term to mock those whose love was unrequited, not returned in other words, and hence failing to reach a level of intimacy, but today it is used more kindly to denote strong friendships. And so this word is highly context dependent upon different strengths of love, different intentions behind the loving, the presence or absence of sexual intimacy, and the relationship between the lover and the beloved, which has entertained many a philosopher and poet for centuries, regarding things like the naturalness of loving someone greater or better than oneself, for instance, or a love that could also raise the intensity of attachment to fanaticism. Out of love I am willing to die for my leader, my God, my religion, or to divert an immense unconditional respect and reverence that recognizes the sublime nature of God without any egoistic demands or offers of sacrifice or of war. A concept also caught up in the Greek word agape, and which can also denote the love that God has for all of us. In the Hebraic scriptures, the word was chesed, implying a love that can be relied on, an everlasting love. Nonetheless, this logic of the basic three strata, logic is a rather cool term to use in the world of love, I know, was described by Aristotle in his very useful and insightful notes on friendship in the Nicomachean Ethics, Book 8, well worth reading by the way. Defining us as social creatures, Aristotle reviewed the interconnectedness of people in a society and observed, funnily enough, three levels of friendship, which can help our investigation of love. The first level of friendship depends on a sense of usefulness of the other. It has a function such as the friendship between pupils at school or colleagues at work or in a business. It lasts as long as they are in regular close proximity, but diminishes once there is no need for their meeting anymore, or there's no need to meet up for business arrangements, etc. The next level of friendship is based on a sense of pleasantness. Being in the company of the other person gives one a sense of pleasure on some level or other. They may be easy company, generate excellent conversation, make us laugh. But again, if the conditions alter, change, the friendship diminishes. The highest level involves loving the other for who they are, regardless of utility or function. This is a love of the other's character, their virtues, and is unchanging in its appreciation, for our virtues and character rarely change. As Aristotle wrote, perfect friendship is the friendship of men who are good, and alike in virtue, for these wish well alike to each other qua the good, and they are good themselves. It is a rare friendship. So consider the divisions implied for love and friendship. The first level. I love you, as I am fleetingly sexually attracted to you. I am caught up in desire or erotic attraction. Or, I love you as in non-sexually loving a friend, again temporarily. I don't have any sexual feelings towards you, but you're useful to me for the time being, so I love you. Second level. I love you, as in I find you pleasant to be with as a friend or as a temporary rather than fleeting lover. There is still a conditional loyalty that can alter as we mature, and our emotional dispositions change, which may end with such comments such as, I don't get it, you used to be so funny and great to be with, now you're just boring. What happened to us? The third level. I love you, as in I am committed to being with you for who you are, and will stick with you through thick and thin. True friendship, or true romantic love, that changes not with conditions. We have been through much and we stick with each other. We are loyal, honest, best buddies forever. To present an overlay on these initial levels of love, the first two invoke some level of usefulness to the other, to one's personal ends. Now this is the ethical language of the German philosopher Immanuel Kant, and again is very pertinent here. Can we really say that we love someone if we are just using them, even if that use is mutual? Or we can note that the first level is animalistic or instinctive, engaging the powerful sexual drive when someone turns our head, while the second layer remains ego-based as it is predicated on appealing to us in some way or other, pleasantness. The other is still a means to an end. The third level, though, engages a sense that transcends the ego's mundane, worldly, personal, daily requirements. The other is seen as an end in themselves, as Kant would say, to be respected and loved without condition. And why would that love or true friendship change? And at each level, these kinds of love may be one way, unrequited, or mutual. Sexual attraction may pervade all three levels between the two people, or there may be no sexual attraction. We can see that this creates an entertaining matrix of associations linking desire, friendship, commitment, affection, loyalty, comradeship, and I'm just touching the surface here. And the ancient Greeks also used other notions of love that could be referred to, such as ludus, or playful, flirtatious love, mania, or obsessive, irrational love, storgi, or love for family members, and philortia, or self-love. Each in turn generates its own plethora of issues based on linguistic, cultural, personal associations, which nonetheless also evoke broader philosophical questions such as, should self-love be the basis for all love, without which no love for another can exist? And Aristotle outlined this. Can eros be as irrational as mania, and is ludus merely the flirtatious games, the dinners, the dances of potential lovers filtering out the better partners from the worse, the dating game? And what are the ethics of testing out different dates? And how deep should such relationships proceed while running the risk of ego-driven desire, or the potential for hurting another's trust? But in this overview of love, there is also the sense of agape that Christianity and other religions refer to, and which Aristotle connotes as the highest form of friendship, a hint to a spiritual love that transcends personality, ego, and even the attraction of the other's character or physicality. It also includes a love for each and of all, a brotherly love, boundless, stripped of any expectation of the other's behaviour. Or it leans into the love of God, or of God's love for us. We find this notion in Islam in the Arabic word mahabba, and in Buddhism it is referred to as metta. And while the notion of spirituality can close down philosophers' minds, there is plenty in the philosophical space and in the history of thought for seeking to explore this edge of reason debate, especially in the realm of love. In the next video, we shall review the nature of love as suffering. And again, we shall also explore the sense of unconditional love and the love that pervades the universe, as in the incarnation of life, for example, or all that is, or of God's love for everything and our love for God or for everything. See you in the next video, and any comments, welcome.